have a cable design, because it's necessary to have a cable design. The approach that I use is always have a cable design. So, always plan your cables, network, cable planning, network cable planning, right? It's necessary to have your cable plan, and what you do is you survey the building or the floor map of the building, because network cable, the maximum an Ethernet cable will go is 100 meter. So make sure that you have a cable plan, you have a floor plan of the building, and then find the central location of the building, and that's where you're going to place your MDF, which is your main distribution facility. Make sure it is in the center of your floor plan, as you're planning your network cabling. And from the MDF, because the MDF is centralized, now you can go ahead and have your IDFs, and then you can now run your cables, from your MDF to your IDF. And remember, Ethernet can go a maximum of 100 meters. So that's the reason why it's necessary to have your MDF in the center, in a centralized location, that you can now run to your multiple IDFs. Yeah, because if you have it in the wrong location, you end up by having to run more than 100 meters. And when you go more than 100 meters with Ethernet, you start losing signal. You have poor performance. It will be best for you to not have service than have poor services. So the next thing you can do also is which is not recommended, to actually daisy chain multiple IDFs. You can do that, so you can do that, but what you have now introduced here is you've introduced a single point of failure, right? So that goes off here, this IDF lose connection also, because it's daisy chaining from here. So you don't want to do that. That's why you have a centralized MDF, and then you run to your multiple IDFs, and then from your IDFs into your different access points. So always have a cable plan, and that will always help. So that's the approach that I always use when I'm doing. I always make sure that I have cable plan. Yeah. So the uplink is up. These are crossover cable, because all these ones here, these are all uplinks here, except for that one there. That's an uplink. Those are all uplinks. These are all crossover cables. So from switch to switch, you can use a straight through cable to connect a switch to a switch, but automatically the switch will detect the cable type, and what the switch is going to do is use something we call MDIX. So it will auto MDIX the cable if it is a straight through cable to the switch, so it will flip it over automatically as a crossover cable. Because connecting a switch to a switch, you have to use a crossover cable and not a straight through. A straight through, if you're connecting a straight to a PC, then that is a straight through cable. So all these ones here, these are all crossover cables. Now this here is SFP, uplink, but we're not using that. The reason we're not using the S is because these are the SFP modules in here. Check it out. And there you go. So these are the SFP modules. Active-losing SFP gigabit modules. For the uplinks. Now the reason why we're not using these ones here is because we don't have fiber uplinks. It would be best for us to use that, but we don't have fiber uplinks, so we're not doing that. But what will happen is that the switches are going to be replaced with a stackable switch. That's why this one is empty here, because it's going to be a stackable switch. So if we're going to have 3 switches here, we're going to stack them together. Like I said, we're not using fiber uplinks. If you want to use the fiber outlanes, we will need a fiber interconnector switch here, a fiber interconnector, so you have all the fiber outlanes from the access switches into the interconnector, and then from the interconnector to the pole switches. That's if we're doing fiber, but we're not doing fiber uplink switches. We're doing copper uplanes, so that's why we're using a bunch of crossover cables. Eventually, all this one here, we're going to channel this cable. So this here, we're going to bond them together, channel this one here. So we're going to have 4 gig uplinks. But because it's a very busy production network, cannot take a lot of things down for a very long time. So I'm just working, as the network is busy running, because we don't want to have a lot of downtime. So as you can see, this one here is port 23. That's it, right? So this is coming out, going to be replacing, this one here. That one is coming out. But I cannot take it down yet because I need to move everybody from that department to the department that I have, which is LD1, that I have this outlinks, couple outlinks over there. Once they're over there, I move the switch over, and then boom, this one goes in there. Because this one here, it goes straight into a patch panel. So this cable here is going through a different department. Now, because I am moving that switch to the same department as this full out lane, I am going to use that over there. Yeah, because we're moving a lot of things around, doing a couple of changes around. But yeah, there's a bunch of crossover cables doing that. Like I said, we're not doing fiber outlanes, because if we're doing fiber, we get a fiber interconnector over here, and then all the outlanes from the access switches come into the fiber interconnector, and then from the fiber interconnector into the pole switch. But for now, yeah, we're good. Super. After you're done with putting those terminals there, this is how the board goes. Okay. Yeah, right. It just slots in here. Okay, on either side. It just slots in on either side of it. And then you just place it like that. At the moment, we're not going to mount it on the. We're just going to leave it now. We'll see how it goes in there. If we will decide to mount it, then eventually we'll mount it underneath. But for now,
it's gonna be like it's lightweight, so that's okay.
It's lightweight,
if it falls, so it's all right.
Yeah, it's super lightweight. Yeah. So if it becomes an issue, then only we are going to start. We're going to mount it underneath. It goes like that. But for now, we're going to leave it like this, and then keep it on. Yeah, once you're done with all the terminals, then we can now go ahead and mount that. Oh, we're looking great. We're coming so right. Right on schedule. Everything coming all right. Team doing a good job. Okay, let me go and finish out with those monster crimping. So that we can finish everything up. All right, let's get a ball rolling. Good. Skumbuzo is not here today. Okay. Oh, he's busy. Oh, with his ebook. Okay. See him when he's done. Got my team hard at work for so we're making progress. Almost done with this idea here, because for this department, this is our IDF, straight from the MDF coming straight into this IDF. Now this IDF here take care of this department. Now I didn't run a lot cable to the next department. Reason why is because this grade trunking, the depth is not deep enough to run multiple cables, so we need to run the other department. Going to put the switch here to run the cables in there. So I have one IDF here, then an IDF in the next office, which is behind on the drywall, and then we take care of that office and the next office over there. So we have 2 more offices. So I have one IDF here, another one over there, and then there's another one on the other side. So yeah, let me finish up with the crimping today, and yeah, it should be done here today. Let's get a ball rolling. All the cables here are Cat 6 cables, but I prefer working with these black ones. They are fully shielded cable. I prefer working with this one here and this one here. These are great spool cables, you know, from a patch panel to a patch panel. These cables are great. You want to use this for flight leads, it's not comfortable to work with because they're much more thicker cable. The copper inside, the white ones are much more thicker down the black ones, so it makes it very difficult to push it into the keystone plugs. But these are great spool cables. So from a patch panel to a patch panel, you know, I love working with this cable much more better than the black ones. I have two fans in here to extract the hot air. It's overkill for 3 switches. It's super overkill because switches don't have inbuilt fans. They don't. They can't let. Using those ones to extract the heat. One is more than enough because of the, you know, there's air conditioning here. 2 is better than 1, you know what I'm saying? Always the backup, always have redundancy, you know what I'm saying? Always. No matter how good your network infrastructure is, a good network infrastructure is the one that has a lot of redundancy. You know, a lot of redundancy. Because it's a small network, because we have one site using a collapsed core tier, you know, so it's just a 2-tier topology. You know, from all the access switches straight into the distribution layer, you know, and also the core layers of the collapsed core. As a topology, I'm using here. If you're doing a 3-tier topology, you have a very talking about campus network, yeah, or very big enterprise network with multiple locations. No, or campus network. Yeah. Definitely, you want to go with 3-tier topology for that. You know, have your distribution, have your core layer, doing all your speed. Distribution layer, you know, all your policies, you know, QoS, the access layer. Okay, all right. Over here, where are the phones for here? Okay.
We're gonna
We need a switch to test to see if the phone's
Yeah, I'm gonna put in the switch now, but
yeah, but all the cables are in there.
in there. Okay, all right. So you have cables in all these phones here,
Yeah.
and then what about there? Do they have some phones? Okay, let me bring you up some phones so that y'all can put it there. So I'm about to test it now. You say? You what?
Yeah, so if we clear these desks, Ricardo can then sweep out here.
Yeah, and
make
then-
it clean, and then we
All right.
then
Okay.
we push them in and we can test them.
Okay. All right. You do that. I can close all of them. You know.
I can pressure on them to do this.
Close all the ceilings. We're putting the screens. Now we're coming right. I'm gonna put some screens in here. Like, yeah, that's what they've done there. Let me have a look. When you have good team, this is what happens. Get things done right. Okay. So for now. Okay, so we're not gonna use this one here. I don't like that. Doesn't look good. Yeah, much better. Yeah. Yeah, that's how we're gonna have it, Ricardo. We're gonna have screens in between because we have enough, right, to go around. Yeah, great. Because it looks better with the screen, you know, in between then. Yeah.
There's quite a lot of space.
There's quite. It's a what?
There's a lot of space in between the screens in the middle.
Yeah, which is all right because it makes it very easy for Catherine to troubleshoot when he has to do some cable troubleshooting. And then cable management later on. We'll come in, do cable management, drops the cable down now. Make it all look neat. It's coming all right. All looking good. All looking good. So this one here is definitely coming out. Definitely coming out, yeah. Yeah, it's coming out. Making great, significant progress. Okay. Well, looking good.
Can you pass me this panel here?
What? Which one?
This one on the table.
Okay.
Panel and its thing. Divider.
Okay. That's a panel for you. It's a divider for you.
Thanks.
All right. Crimper. Yeah, some pliers. This one's here. Now let's get it cranking. Let's get it going. How does it feel like, Kesha, knowing that we're about to finish up? I love this tool. You know, amazing tool. I just love them. Yeah. Stay. Punch down two. Stay. Another crimper. Stay. Great job, guys. Great job. You know what I'm saying? Catherine, I crimp all those monster cables. Yeah, I figure out how to crimp those monster cables. It was like, and I got them working, you know. So I found I found some trick, you know, and it's just boom, 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 and it worked. I'm like, yeah, there we go. I got home yesterday and my fingertips was very sore. I'm like, gosh, I'm really, my fingertips are really exhausted. Came this morning, I'm like, I gotta make the cables a little bit much more longer and extremely straight because there's strength in numbers. So when I grab it very close and I push, they just keep going in, keep going, and strength in numbers. That's my trick and it worked. old phone cables. That's a cable group. This is what we do to old phone cables. Trash. It's 10:30 now, so my team, they are on tea break. To, you know, I'll go on a tea break. Why not? Yeah. We have a look here. The TED switch, it's in production right now, so I cannot take it, because if I should take it now, the department will be down. But I still don't have this place ready for them to come through, so I cannot take this switch. Once I have the whole place cleaned up with my team, we have this whole place cleaned up and everything right here, then I can move that switch in there, you know, goes right in there for that. So for now, I am going to use the second switch to test. Now these are Alcatel-Lucent enterprise switches. Well, that's a French, so I hope I didn't butcher that name. Alcatel-Lucent. Have a look. Alcatel-Lucent, yeah, French. And this is the IDF. No, MDF is in the data center, and this is the IDF for this office here. I cannot put another switch in here for the department behind that drywall. The reason why I cannot do that is because this trunking is not really, you know, deep enough. And as you can even see right here, the cables are kind of like struggling, not good, but it's much uncomfortable to run all this cable space. I have, how many cables I have in here? That's 40. I have 60 cables in here, so it's really, you know, so there is another IDF in the department here. You know, it's another IDF behind the drywall. Agents are busy in there right now, so I can't go in there with cameras because they're busy in there. So it's behind that. I like my team for what they've done. I'll show you what you do with old analog phone cables. Trash. 7 keys. So here is main distribution. This is our MDF main distribution facility. Behind this door, this fireproof door, you know, fireproof door, cameras, some old sevens gonna go, you know. This is the patch panel and the office there for the analog phones. This is Samsung, you know, Samsung, you know, office there for the analog phones. Yeah, decommission all of them, you know. Old phones, analog phones are out completely. We're doing all, you know, voiceover now, so I am getting rid of all this one here and this switch, this cabinet here. I love this cabinet. It's very tall and it's in depth, so I'm going to use it to mount a lot of service in here. Cat 5e patch panel coming out. This patch panel here, voice and data patch panel. Yeah, Cat 5e. All of them coming out with the old, in with the new. No more Cat 5, only Cat 6. Only Cat 6. Yeah, so all this one here is coming out. Placing all of them. Batteries, you know what I'm saying. Then the saver. This is a core cabinet saver coming out. Don't mention that no more. So for decommission of 40K, you know. Yeah, so there's still quite a lot I'm going to be doing here. You know, stackable switch. Switches coming here for the core and gonna stack them up. So these switches are gonna be replaced. All these ones here are gonna be replaced. This is an acid switch. I'm posting it in here, but this is our MDF. Yeah, that's our MDF right there. You know, so from here to the rest of all the department and all that. Yeah. So now this one's here. You know, in this patch panel here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, and it's 8 of them. So this patch panel here, this is the uplink. Those cables that I showed you, those thick wire cables, spool cables. This is patched in here. Now, those were installed back, you know, I don't know, some guys installed this in a long time ago. We no more using that, you know, so that's why I ran 4 new uplink cables. So yeah, that's why this port here, the patch panel is empty, because I have this for here, and I'm replacing that. Yeah, we're doing great. So back here, still got a lot of work to do here, you know. And most importantly, I need to get all the agents in the other office. Then, you know, because cannot take a lot of things down here. Management don't like it. Management was like, work around this, but we don't want to have significant downtime. So yeah, cable management later on.
I'm gon' ball no pick up. That IA doors they live for. Talking on my back, go figure. Whole team eats fun split up. Never was the one to go flick up. No face, no case, no picture. For place, big stakes, my dinner. Flip that, Canal Street. Flip back. Last week, old money. This week, new racks. Never buy none more. If I can't afford to gift wrap, stunning in your foreign car. You keep riding rental tags. Heard you roll the as a lean, we are not the same. Couple thousand in my